You're watching KRBC, Abilene's local news at 10.
KRBC was the first news station ever in Abilene, and this year marks our 60th year of broadcasting in the Big Country. To commemorate the anniversary, we've been working on a 30-minute special looking back on some of the many people who have made KRBC what it is. Tonight we show you part of that special, highlighting some of the transformations our station has made over the past 6 decades. Television was new to Abilene in those days.
Well, howdy doody, kids.
So when KRBC went on the air in 1953, owners recruited announcers from Hardin-Simmons University's broadcast program. 3 guys in particular: Larry Fitzgerald, Doug Bolus, and James Hallmark. Bolus became the first news anchor in Abilene. Fitzgerald was sports announcer, and Hallmark was a staff announcer. When Bolus left KRBC, Larry Fitzgerald became news director and main anchor,
Today at Big Spring,
heading a news team well into the 1970s.
I started in 1973.
As is the case for most who work in this news market, in those days, Steve Abel took on a number of roles in the newsroom.
I never worked less than 50 hours, did a little bit of everything.
Doing a bit of everything in the 70s meant a lot of work. KRBC was still using film.
Have wind-up cameras and go out and shoot. We had to rush back, process it, get it on the air. You spool up the stories one by one, and then one by one those films are projected.
In 1979,
we're beginning to have some big city-type crime.
Abilene's first female news anchor, Dee Carlson, was introduced on KRBC.
That was a milestone. That was when women were just beginning to do a lot of stuff.
And a lot of stuff she did.
We wrote down the times of the stories. Morning news anchor when the morning news person was on vacation. I was noon anchor for most of the time I was here, and I filled in for the weatherman when he was on vacation. And then I produced the evening news, and then I became the evening news producer and anchor.
By 1980, a change in the way news was covered. Newswatch was faster paced, and that's when KRBC converted from film to videotape. By the mid to late 1980s, another change.
From the proud, beautiful Big Country of Texas,
Newswatch became Big Country News. After a few more changes along the way, KRBC would eventually become known as Abilene's First News, and finally, what it is today, Abilene's Local News, a name that encapsulates years of dedication to serving Abilene and the surrounding area.
The station is still here, and it's on the air, and it's doing what it's always done, providing news and information and community service.
Standards that have been a staple for KRBC for 60 years.
I really love all of those people that I worked with back then. It was a joy and a pleasure to work with people who truly cared about the community.
And you'll see more from the special the next couple of nights here on 10 at 10, and much more in store when the full special airs this weekend.